I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing.
Hey, everybody. Want to welcome you back to another episode, show, podcast, call it what you want, conversation with me, Warren Werbitt from What They Think. And today we have Chris Madden with us. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I am doing great, Warren. Great to be here with you.
Good to have you. So Chris is the founder, president of Good Future Media.
I'm the CEO and co-founder of Good Future Media, and I'm co-founder and head of growth at Imagineai Live.
Exactly. And I was going to get there. So we just spent some time together. It seems like yesterday, but it seems so long ago also at Imagineai Live, first conference, which was a blowout success. 500 plus people showed up to talk AI. Tell me about it. I know that I had the best time ever and learned a ton. How was it for you?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it was a month ago that I arrived in Las Vegas. I actually live in South Korea here, so I took a 12-hour flight to Vegas, arrived, and we had our founding team there getting everything ready. And it was my first conference that I organized and threw. And to say it was a success is an understatement because it just kind of blew away all our expectations. We had 600 people there. That was like the max we could have there. And we had 35 speakers. We had 2 amazing nights of festivities. And then the cool thing was the pop-up podcast that I organized. I run the Imagineai Live podcast, and we had this podcast studio that was in the middle of the foyer of the outside of the conference hall. And I was able to get through 39 people that signed up to sit down with me for 15 minutes and talk about AI and their thoughts at the conference here. It was amazing.
I thought it was great. By the way, for everybody who's watching or listening to us, if you want, go to Imagineai Live's website, check it out. If you want, for a monthly fee or a one-time fee, you could sign up and then have access to all the content from the conference. Just mentioning that, how amazing was it for me? I'll talk from my own perspective. Before the conference, AI was mainly about ChatGPT and writing emails and writing. And then I go to the conference and it's really about everything else and not even about that. I mean, we watched the guy who booked an airline ticket on the stage, which was pretty cool. AI being used in the speeding up the vaccine, one of the vaccines for COVID, right? We had Silverberg up there, composer, music guy.
Yeah.
So what was some of the highlights for you?
Well, you're right that, at imagineai.live, you can go, that's our website, and you can go and you can get access to all of these presentations. And what was funny, because I spent most of my time out in the hallway interviewing people and some backstage. And so I've actually only made it through a few of the presentations so far. And I'm so excited to get through them and put them out on YouTube eventually. I've heard, Antonis Kohelis was great, CEO, head of Ogilvy Marketing. I was so happy to be able to get some of the crew from the All In podcast fan community there. Young Spielberg did all the music. Zach Smith did all the graphics for the conference. And really getting this good community vibe. I felt like so many of the people there really felt, involved and had skin in the game and wanted it to be a success. So I felt like that came through to the guests as well, as far as the vibe and the atmosphere, and everybody seemed to be having a good time and was taking a lot from the speakers.
So the thing, actually, I've been to a lot of conferences in my career, and the one thing that probably I noticed and blew me away, at the top of the chart, was on the last day, the last speaker, I think it was Jess or she was one of from Familiarity. Most of the people were still there. I don't see people at the end of conferences ever, because most usually book out. But the way this was done with a single track. Anyways, I don't really want to talk anymore about Imagineai because I'm not really here promoting it. But I want to really just
one last thing. We're doing it next year again. It was like,
yes, we are.
Yeah, it's a success that we're doing it again next year, and we might have some day impact sessions in between then and now as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, no, it's great. So, but really today, AI, it seems it's everywhere now. In the 18 months ago that ChatGPT popped up, it seems like every day I get the AI feed, and there's more and more platforms coming out, lots of more startups. But how do you see people with AI? Like, are they grasping it, or are they not? Because you speak to a lot of people in a lot of different areas and places.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a sense of, the percentage of people that are in America, let's say, that are or North America, that are taking it seriously and trying out the tools, testing them daily, using ChatGPT daily. Just because that's my world, I go into Twitter and it's like all AI all the time. I'm trying to keep up with everything. But that's what's nice about the AI field, is that there's progress being made every day, and every week there's huge headline news of new products and new abilities that these LLMs, large language models, are capable of. And it's a very rich competitive field, 4 or 5 big top dog players trying to build the best thing and get people to try out their AI. So like Meta just released AI across all, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. And now you look at, I don't know if you've seen, but there's an update where if you go to your messages, or I think maybe in search, it's like there's an AI.
It's all changed.
Yeah, AI search bar right at the top there. And so that's what, the power of some of these, Meta with Llama 3 is out now, and that they can just distribute it. It's about the distribution of it too. Whereas like Anthropic, which is Amazon's, that's a little bit harder. Anthropic has Claude, and it's just a little bit harder for Amazon because they're not on people's, people use Amazon to maybe Prime and shop, but like you need the distribution as well to get it out there. And like ChatGPT was like kind of first out the door with ChatGPT 3.5, and so many, it's still the leading best now that they have 4 Turbo out. But by the time you're listening to this, somebody else might have technically better, but they're all really good. But yeah, ChatGPT made storms, and now a lot of people have that on their phone. It's hard to, like the general public, it's hard to know how many people are paying attention. But in my world, everybody's paying attention, and they should be. There's segments on the evening shows. Jon Stewart did one on AI recently. And, it just kind of gives you a sense that it is making its way into
it's a top topic. I mean, I find myself since Imagine, I find myself kind of promoting AI to everyone I talk to, just saying to them, listen, if nothing else, start to play with it so that you know what it is and you're a little familiar with it, because it's not stopping. It's really just moving at warp speed. I mean, I remember from the show, we had Adam
Brotman and Andy Sack.
Correct. So I watched the mini podcast that you had them on, and they were talking about AI, and everyone should listen up to this, because what they were saying was, as partners, they're amazing together and they do great things. But every now and again, they get into a situation as partners and they need the third person to help. And who do they use for the third person? They use AI. It's not about emotion. It's about practicality and sensibility. And the systems are built that way. So they'll turn to their little computer and put in their situation or whatever the problem is. And whatever comes out, they agree with that's how they're going to solve it. Who ever would have thought that?
Exactly. They use it as, like, they say it's their third CEO, and it's like an
third co-founder.
Yeah, third co-founder of the company. And just, you're absolutely right that if you and it's ChatGPT, just, I primarily just use ChatGPT. Like, go in there and just use it as your amazing oracle of information and advisor, and somebody that you can talk with for your problems with, and it helps give you solutions. I mean, it's not just like a Google search. It's not like, it is a Google search and it can condense all this stuff for you, but it actually gives you like steps to take and gives you a fuller frame of problems you're going through and maybe help you consider things you haven't thought of yet. And then, it points you in the right direction. And it just knowing that you've got this kind of coach that's there to always encourage you and always keep you on track if you choose to use it, because it's not like prompting at you yet. You're not getting like little notifications yet. But if you go to it, it can be this super tool for you.
Well, I'll tell you, I use it. Sometimes I have to do things. And before chat, I would sit down at the computer and it could take me an hour or 2 or 3 even before I can get the things moving in my head, because they move a little funny, and then get them out and to start doing things. And then with ChatGPT or Perplexity, I'd like to use both of them, so I'll mention both names. I put in my thought, I put in my idea, and it gives me a boom. It gives me like an explosion of stuff. And I'm like, okay, now I know where I want to go. It's like that little pat on the back. Even I'm watching, so I'll just show you something in print, because, people in print are, first of all, everybody's worried about losing your jobs. I don't think people are going to lose. I think some people might lose their jobs, but for the most part, jobs might change. New jobs will come from it. Kind of like when the computer came on board, everyone thought we'd lose their jobs. There's more computers and more people working on them now, right? When the internet came out, everyone said paper's going to go and all the printers will be out of business. And well, that didn't happen. Everyone's first reaction is always a little negative.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to add, for the companies and the people that are choosing to use AI and like kind of embracing it, there's just going to be more work for you to do. Like you're going to be able to do more work and be more valuable. And, you can do so much more. And so it's getting into that mindset of like, hey, this is actually, it might not be taking jobs away from people, but like increasing the GDP, increasing the productive value of what you're bringing to the world. And when you kind of think about that from a company level, if everybody starts using AI and, how much more productive they can be and allow, employees to do more things. And then from a personal level too, it's the same thing.
Oh, on a personal level, I mean, really, you could ask it anything you want to know. You're in the privacy of your own space, so you don't have to worry about anyone looking over your shoulder and feeling weird about anything that you're going to ask it. And it gives you back answers, non-emotional and non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so it makes it easy.
Trying to help you.
Right. Yeah. So in print, I'll show you a little brochure that a company called Classic Color did. First of all, awesome company. They make all of Sappy's paper sample books, but they went out about 8 months ago, right? And they used AI and Mid-Journey for images and prompts on how to do things, and it put in the layers, extra layers that were needed, because there's another color in there, just not 4-color process. You could look at the shoes and see the markings, or on the purse on the back, there's for the reticulation and the cutout of the spot
that's
UV.
incredible. That was done with Mid-Journey?
That's 8 months ago, and it's only getting better.
Yeah.
So imagine, and for people designing, you still, we talk about jobs actually, for people that are worried about losing, I don't think so, because for a designer, you have more tools to use now. You could put it together quicker. You can maybe go a little farther in your thought. But for your customer, even though they have this available to them, not everybody's going out to play with Mid-Journey and pictures and learn how to create layers and different creative, right? It's really for the people in that world. Just even funny enough now, so I'm just about finished a book. I'm doing a book on my journey of my career and whatnot. And a friend of mine said to me, and I had somebody help me to do the writing because I'm more of a video guy than a writer. And my friend said to me, like, why would you not use ChatGPT? You could put in the questions. And I said to him, you don't get it. I said, I still don't know. I could do that, but I wouldn't know if it's a good book or not. I don't know the flow. I don't know the way it should be set up to go. So for everybody listening who's even worried about your job, don't worry, because ChatGPT doesn't give everyone the answers and the correct way to do things. It puts you in the right path, gives you information, but are you going to trust everything that comes out of ChatGPT?
Yeah, exactly. And you actually said a quote. I'm going to pull it up here.
Oh
In
no,
order to
never
use
remember what I
artificial
say.
intelligence, you need human intelligence.
So funny enough, that quote, for everyone to know, was not my quote. It was from Classic Color when I sat with the boys.
So on that point, what's funny is that, okay, so it's not your quote. You're right. And you said that in the pop-up podcast, but what is language? Is like, it's all just like ideas that we're taking from each other. And it's just this accumulation of knowledge. And like that idea, like was he the first person to come up with that phrasing, or did he hear part of it from somewhere else? And, he's kind of repeating it or putting, and that's what artificial intelligence is. That's what AI is. It's just taking all of our work that we've created and synthesizing it and putting it, putting it out there in perfect, ways and innumerable ways. And it's crazy to think about.
Well, and they always say that anything you think of's been thought of somewhere before, but I give credit because the first time I heard it was from Classic Color.
No,
so,
for sure. That's a good.
I just want to always be out there like that way. But I'm kind of freaking out on the AI. In the world of print, I was talking with people and they said, "Well, how do you see it working?" And I said, "Well, what about estimating? In our world, estimating it's an art. It's getting harder to fill the position because the people that are estimating are older. Younger people aren't necessarily interested so much in estimating. And I think once companies figure out how to get the estimating, all the numbers and everything required to do an estimate on cost into the right way, into like a ChatGPT or any AI platform, you'll be able to say, 1,000 brochures, 28 pages, self-cover on this type of paper and have your price. And that'll take the day or two out of waiting for the estimate to come for the person to manually do it.
Right. It's a matter of variables, right? And just knowing the cost of the units, and
as long as it knows the cost, and then you just ask the question, right? It's even for anybody, scheduling, puts it in there, moves it to the right place. I'm kind of, I have chat on my phone, and for everybody out there, like, I remember there was someone at the conference who said he saves 2 hours a day using AI. And I was like, how's that possible? 2 hours. And then I realized when I did a post on LinkedIn, I went on to chat. I didn't even type it. I spoke it. I set it into the phone. I prompted it for what I wanted it for on LinkedIn for an article. It wrote it. I read it. I liked it, made a change, copy, paste, 2 minutes. My posting on LinkedIn was up versus 22 minutes. If I write it, read it, write it, check it, do it.
For the creative process, it just speeds up so much. And it's interesting when you say, it's saved 2 hours of time, and it's making, it's giving you that 2 hours back to spend somewhere else where you can be doing more things and being like, make more social media posts, or talk, communicate more, network more with people. And it just, yeah.
So where would you suggest, in chatting with all these people maybe go to look if they want to learn a little bit more about AI? Because it's overwhelming, right?
It's overwhelming.
My feed on my phone, like my social media feed on Instagram or Facebook, it is just inundated with AI courses and people and experts after 12 months.
No, I think everybody's getting into, everybody's starting to follow these people. And then a lot of people are realizing that, they've got to pivot in their career. They have to understand AI to be staying ahead of other people. And in order to sell yourself better, you've got to understand the tools. And so everybody's kind of, reframing what they do as an AI first or an AI expert. A lot of people are doing that. So it is getting into a crowded field, but eventually, like, it's just going to be like the internet, where it's like, oh, do you know how to use the internet? Yeah, I do. It's like, are you familiar with all these? Yes, I am. So I'd recommend following a newsletter. There are numerous ones. TLDR is good. Too long didn't read TLDR. They have several different niches, but they've got one on AI as well. Rowan Chung's newsletter is really good. I'm trying to...
Yeah, I also
The
have.
name of it quick.
Oh, there's so many of them. It's like once you sign up.
The Rundown AI, that's right. Rundown AI is really good, and just to like get the the news that's coming out every day or of these improvements, and then from there in the newsletter they have these links to go and check it out, and go to the actual website to download the software, or try it on the web browser, and just to be familiar with what's possible and where the current edges. And that takes 10 minutes a day to skim through that and maybe click on a few links.
Except when you get like three of those newsletters from different companies.
Yeah, I mean, I get so many that I don't open. I open 1 out of 10.
No, it's hard. It's hard, but definitely recommend to people.
That's a good way to start. It's like get ChatGPT on your phone and follow an AI newsletter, and you'll find one that you like. And it's they're all kind of this newsletter game. Everyone's trying to kind of do the same thing, and we're actually trying to think about how to start a newsletter for Imagineai Live and how to make it different, because we don't want to just regurgitate the news and all this new stuff that's coming out every day. I mean, there's certainly a value in that, but we want to kind of do more focuses on the startups themselves and the use cases, how companies are actually using this in their businesses, how people are using it in their lives to make more efficiencies and be more productive. So that's more to come on that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty. It's pretty incredible out there. But I can't encourage enough people to play with it. And one area that you guys could play with if you're listening. When I started playing around, I went to my LinkedIn page and my about section that was written, however it was written about me. And I just took it, copy pasted it, put it into chat and wrote, please rewrite this about me for LinkedIn so that it's more engaging for people when they read it.
Yeah.
And I pressed the button and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Did you prefer that to what you had? And
I preferred it to what I had.
Yeah, just what you should do too is like you can tell it, okay, that's good, but I want 30% less words and give me 5 different examples. And you can just tweak it, and you can just keep tweaking it until you're happy with it and to your specifications, and it'll do it.
And every time I was kind of like, and I said I needed 20 words less because I thought it went over, right? Mm-hmm. Or cut it down, this and that. The other thing is, to everybody listening, when you're playing around with chat or any of them, pay the $20, right? Pay the $20 so you have full access to it, because you're getting a little bit better work than the free one. Because anything free and light, it doesn't give you maximum use.
Well, it's just the older version. So it's like soon ChatGPT 5 will be released in a couple months maybe, and then ChatGPT 4 will be free, presumably, unless they're just going to do an even higher tier. But you'll just be using a tool that's a year old or not as the full capabilities. I don't think you have access to the imagery art that you do with OpenAI, and Midjourney is a little different because you have to like have a Discord account, and you have to kind of just figure out Discord a little bit. The onboarding is a little, it's not hard, but you just got to follow the instructions, and then you can use Midjourney.
Yeah, it's just another thing. But I think also when you pay, your work is in your own closed environment versus the light one where it's just open and people have, not that they have access, but if they type in something you did, it comes up.
I'm not sure about that. I feel like that would go against their privacy terms. Like, I think that everything you still put in, like if you put in private information about you, it's not like, oh, Chris Madden did this and such. Like, I don't know. Like maybe they're using that data to train their stuff, but I don't think it would be a privacy concern. Like information you put in there is not going to be shared with other people.
Right. Well, anyway, more on the privacy stuff to come, because security now becomes another issue.
Yeah, it seems to be like the top concern of all these businesses is that they'd love to use these tools, but they want to make sure that it's done in a safe way and then in an accurate way. And in healthcare, for example, one of the speakers that we had, it works for Microsoft, and his company was acquired, and they're making like a tool for doctors to use in these patient visits where they don't have to write up all the notes themselves. They can just record the conversation with the patient's permission, and then AI will synthesize all that information and write up all the paperwork, saving the doctor 20 minutes of annoying time. And then if the doctor just reviews that, and like the only big concern is like, okay, because if it gets one thing wrong about a person's health, or like what they're allergic to, or like the blood count readings and stuff, and if it gets one thing, that 99, that 0.001%, they could be, who's liable? And like, is that, even though the human error is probably way greater than that, it's still something that they've got to get over. And just that alone, like anything that can improve our healthcare system and our slow bureaucracy, we need that in America. So.
Oh, that's actually one area where I'd like to see some people lose some jobs as they clean it up, because the layers of bureaucracy to get things done have gotten so complex that you could die waiting in line for something.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why some of these billionaires and stuff, they don't just make this, software-driven, AI-driven healthcare system that can help more people and try to undercut these horrible healthcare industries that are just slowing everything down and make it so. As you can tell, I'm a little sensitive about this topic because I don't know. I live in South Korea where like we went to the doctors the other day and it was my wife was like, guess how much is that? I was like $10 because I know it's cheap here. 90 cents to like go visit a doctor and get some medicine. And then
really,
yeah, it's just the national healthcare system's so good here. And then you go to America and it's just like $100 minimum to just like talk with somebody, and
Yeah, so I'm in Canada, so 90 cents is a lot of money for going to the doctor because we get the health card.
Nice.
But we have other issues because of that. But no, you're right. It's in different places they manage. Listen, North America, it's the land of money. Everything's money driven. Right. So even if somebody could be quicker, do it better, and cure your life quicker, even if we go medicine, there's a cost to it. And if you don't have the money, we'll see. Anyway, that's unfortunate. But I think the whole AI thing is just going to propel everything moving a little quicker.
Well, that's the potential of it. Just again, focusing on the healthcare industry. I mean, why wouldn't we be able to have some healthcare AI that, let's say, Amazon provides or something, like some new startup even like that's going into it, and they just like your whole life you just input everything about your health updates and everything, and you just have this person that you can even if you have a little worry or something, you can just talk to that person and they know your whole history, and it's it just can save so much time, and just having that instant access. I mean, talking about like telehealth and telemedicine, like during COVID, people like Zooming with doctors and stuff. I mean, it's in that same sense where we should be able to do this stuff, and it just takes the willpower, and then these brave entrepreneurs and startups that are trying to work towards that,
taking the chance. By the way, COVID actually, if we look back, and I think people have amnesia about COVID and remembering it, but if we look back, it actually helped push some of this quicker to where we are. Yeah. I mean, the QR code and scanning in North America, at least, people were not big on it. And then ever since COVID, everyone's okay to scan a QR code at a table in a restaurant, right, for the menu, which I will tell you, I want a printed menu because it's easier to see. You're going to order more. I order less food off a QR code than I do off a menu because I don't have the patience to sit and go through everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
One of the losses. But all the other stuff has made everybody a little easier or more open to trying the stuff that's pushed in front of them now because they have no choice.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, like, who knows if we'd be Zooming right now, talking to each other if the pandemic didn't happen, because it made these remote calls and just, hey, we can jump on a call, talk face to face. Yeah, technology can do that for us. And it's not, it's easier. It's more convenient in so many ways. It's not as, I can't slap you on the back and give you a high five. And, it's a different in person. But the amount of access and just this leveling of the playing field and networking is just incredible with Zooming and podcasting. I mean, that's what we're doing right now.
Right. We wouldn't be sitting here even just talking. If we're on the phone, even this visually is better. It's like we're in the same room, even though we're not in the same room, and you're halfway around or all the way around the world, right, sitting there. It's 10 o'clock at night. It's, I don't know, whatever, 9 o'clock in the morning here. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like to just kind of round this, like what I'm doing in my Good Future Media is like the specialty that we've discovered is short form content from podcasting. So like right now we've been talking for, I don't know, almost 30 minutes maybe, and like the start was kind of slower. You know, I don't feel like I delivered that well in the Imagineai live part. It was okay, and like maybe a lot of people
I think it was
will
good.
already have.
I think you're hard on yourself.
Well, people will already have turned off the podcast or like, okay, this is kind of boring. Like maybe they skip ahead and to a timestamp or something. But if they can get to this, like now we're kind of in our groove. We're talking about more interesting things like the potential of AI. Like if you just start it and stop it at you start it at a really interesting part, and you put that clip in front of people, like the chance of them watching it and getting to know me and you, and then possibly checking out the longer form content is way greater chance. And like that's the future we're going to in media, I feel, because everyone's trying to like, and everyone has a right to have these conversations and have their viewpoints heard and stuff, but it's this competition for time essentially, and how much time do you have to look at your phone and social media sites. And so you got to condense the best moments and the most impactful, interesting moments from a conversation and put it in front of people. And that's what we do at our business is we do that for podcasters because we think we know what's interesting and we know how to package it for people and put it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts and stuff.
Imagine whoever thought that there to be a position, social media doing clips to put out. A year ago, there was no clips.
Who'd heard of this job before? It's and now people will pay money to have you do this for them because.
And I'll tell you again, same thing with jobs, right? Because I've gone to a couple of the sites and downloaded the software to make some of those clips. But again, you still need to have that knack and know what you're doing to know if it's really a good clip.
Yeah. It's all about prioritizing. Like, yeah, you're right. AI is trying to come for this field too. And maybe, a couple of years from now, I'll be out of a job if it gets like extremely good. But it's really hard still because you need that human touch to know if you should even spend time on like the follow through of getting this out onto social media, and how do you package it? What's the description, the text that you're using? And a lot of it, I do think that you get familiar with an account and a person and their speaking style and their voice, and that authenticity there. I mean, authenticity is the number one thing that people want. And if AI is just going to replace that and it doesn't sound authentic, it's not going to work. Maybe for some faceless accounts, maybe for news, but if you're trying to be a creator, it's really hard to just kind of replace what you're doing with AI text. You can have it help and augment and help you produce more.
Yeah. Listen, humans are humans, right? How do we get AI? Humans built it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, if we watch some of the movies we watch, maybe down the road, they'll be moving on their own and they won't need us.
Yeah, well,
that won't be in my time, right? And so, what else are you doing in social media aside from those clips?
So basically, our specialty is we'll watch a full podcast, we'll take notes, and then we have a team of editors. We used to do all the editing ourselves. We kind of taught ourselves how to edit. My friend and I were co-founders, and now we have a team that we're kind of the creative directors and like prioritize clips and think about the presentation. And then our editors edit the videos, and then we distribute them on TikTok, Instagram. Like you can make one vertical 9:16 clip, and then the cost of putting that on these other platforms is very marginally small compared to making that clip. So you might as well do it. And then it's this constant game of you should do it every day. It's a daily thing. You should do more than one clip a day if you can. And so it depends how much resources you as a content creator, like it's the original content. How much original content do you have? How much do you want to get out in short form? So there's that, and I just want, I want to try to help as many people as I can, but media businesses are hard to scale because like we're saying, it's the people. You need this people machinery kind of like in place to be able to help more people. And like me as a creative director, I can only watch so much content every day and give my feedback and notes and stuff. So, we've got a few big clients that we're really happy to be working with, but I know there's so many more worthy podcasts and worthy people that could use my help. And I'm trying, my unlock right now is trying to figure out how I can help more people.
I can't even read the stuff that comes to me every day because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and there's a few things that I get every day I want to read and I can't. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with everything else that comes out. And the more that comes out, the more you want to learn. But I guess, hey, Wally, come down.
Well, I guess, and so the other thing I'm trying to do is like, it's this, you know, AI is also going to have this incredible impact on language learning and education. I mean, for one thing, we'll be able to like translate everything that's being said. Like we could have it translated into Korean, for example, just me speaking English, it could translate into really good Korean. Right now it's like, okay, Korean, like not great, but it's going to be really good in the future. But that doesn't change my ability to actually speak the language myself,
Right.
and, you know, talk to my in-laws and, you know, the people on the street. And like maybe one day I'll be talking through a phone or something. But so I still need to learn the language. And like English learning is, you know, 1.5 billion people are trying to learn English in the world today because they know how important and powerful it is of a skill to compete and to gain access to this global economy. And my past career was an English teacher. I was an English teacher for 10 years, living in different countries. And so I'm trying to like start a third pillar, I call it. There's Imagineai Live, there's Good Future Media, and a third pillar called Good Future Academy, where I'm trying to like teach English learners to use these tools and just listen to organic content, listen to podcasts, listen to the shows you're already interested in, but like look up the stuff you don't know and research and take notes. And then like we'll have a community of people that are just encouraging us to like follow this process, but then also just getting the speaking practice in and actually speaking English and, you know, getting in 30 minutes a week of speaking to other people improves your, because a lot of people do understand English well and they can read it, they can write it, but then the speaking, they're not confident and they need the practice. And so,
well, I have that where I live, right? We have French in Montreal. It's Montreal, Quebec. And actually here it's worse. The government's trying to shove the French down your throat and get rid of the English. But it's also a lot of it gets caught up in your own head as you're trying to do a translation, right? Or you're trying to think, and people think differently from different places and different languages. It means different stuff. So it's a never ending.
Right. Yeah. I speak French fluently, but I don't speak Korean well. So that's like, I'm trying to do the same method for my Korean skills too. But yeah, so I've just got this, you know, problem that I've got like too much I want to do, and like frankly too many things that I could do, but I'm trying to stay focused and then on these three different pillars, and then really I'm hoping that I can lean into these tools and build a good team and get people that are, you know, passionate about this too with me, and we can just try to have positive impact on the world and raise education levels. And these people can be making money, making videos, and running social media accounts for people online that kind of start following the good future method. Is what I call it. So.
Yeah, listen, you know what? Anyway, on that note, we're going to kind of close it down. But what a great way to think, to want to help, just to help people. I mean, the world's in a bit of a crazy place these days. Doesn't matter where you go. Every country's got its issues, and some more than others. But wouldn't it be nice to get back to people caring more about people?
Yeah. And that, you know, people are scared about AI, but I think that if you just take AI as this tool to be used, it's a net positive thing, and it'll help everybody. It can lift everybody up if people are using these tools, because it's going to make them smarter, more productive, more efficient, and help them in their lives.
And they'll increase their own knowledge. They'll feel better about themselves while they're doing that, right? Can't forget about that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could feel good, I think we all need to feel better these days, right? The last few years for everybody's been a little brutal. But I'm super excited with AI. I'm super excited to see how it affects every industry in its own right, and how people take it, embrace it, and use it. Because there's going to be some really good users doing some great things with it, and hopefully give us more vacation time.
Yeah, a life of leisure isn't a bad thing either. So
not bad, not bad. Any final words before we disappear?
No, thank you so much. You can find me, Chris Madden, across most socials, and Imagineai Live. Good Future Media is, contact me if you want help with your social media. Click clip game. Otherwise, Warren, it was great talking with you again. I am looking forward to meeting you in person again at the next Imagineai Live.
Cool. Yeah, no, first of all, thanks for coming on and sharing what you know. I want to get more people. For people listening, I just want to have more AI conversations about everything and anything, just so we all feel a little bit more comfortable. If we can use it like Chris and go help other people in our daily jobs or our daily life, then that's really what life is about, people helping people. Otherwise, why are we here? Hope you enjoy the podcast. If you want to be on, if you know someone who wants to be on, if you want to talk about something, just reach out to me, let me know, and we'll make it happen. Otherwise, keep watching them all and Warren Werbitt, what they think. I love print.